What's good, y'all? Back at it again with another reaction. My name is Shadiq, also known as Alchemist, and if you're a returning subscriber, you may notice is a name change. Don't worry, I will explain it later on, but for all of you, you're now locked into KRXOVR Media. This is another track from Ghetts' project, and I really want to check that out at some point because everything that I've heard off of that project has been a masterpiece. Ghetts' growth and everything, it's just been so humbling and honestly really inspiring to see, like, as a creative in general. But listen, I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. Let's get it. And this lineup, this was a very interesting lineup. This is one of those that when I saw it, and I'm liking the consistency and the creative direction of the videos. They all have a very similar execution.
No motherfucking mercy.
Okay.
No mercy. No motherfucking mercy.
This is interesting.
No mercy. No motherfucking mercy.
I wonder who's doing this part, because this doesn't sound like any of their voices, I don't think. I don't know, but I like it. I'm liking the visual here. I'm not exactly sure what's being referenced in it, but it definitely obviously looks like a throwback, so I'm curious to see, what it's going to be about.
No mercy. No motherfucking mercy.
Yeah, I'm loving the visuals.
Viola Davis, man, will get away with murder. I know the pagans want.
Alright, I see what's going on here. I see what Ghetts is doing. He has these tracks where the beats are really, I don't want to say mellow, but the beats are very subtle. They're going to have very small, like, intricacies in it, and it's going to be smaller things like using his voice with the dee-dee-dee, like things like that, or where the strength of the project is going to be. I see it. I see it.
Viola Davis, man, will get away with murder. I know the pagans want to try to take things further.
Yeah.
Try know the basics before you use that burner. Old school jump out, gang, bang, pull up and stir her.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Ghetts is just proving that he can do whatever he wants. It doesn't matter what's prominent right now. He can do whatever he wants because he's gonna do it well.
Viola Davis, man, will get away with murder. I know the pagans want to try to take things further. Try know the basics before you use that burner. Old school jump out, gang, bang, pull up and stir her.
And the way that he has these moments where he just keeps showing you, like, listen, I know aspects of that life, right? Whether or not he's actually lived it, that's none of my business, but just the fact that he can talk about it, but always from this slightly more mature standpoint. Listen, man, I'm gonna keep saying every reaction because it seems like that's gonna be a consistent theme in these projects, well, in these songs on this project.
I know the pagans want to try to take things further. Try know the basics before you use that burner. Old school jump out, gang, bang, pull up and stir her.
You know he uses his voice.
Cut 4-5 to get heads up. More life, less ups.
Yeah, the way that the vocals are being used here, there's something different. Because the beat in and of itself, it's very calm, it's very subtle. But those small moments, the doo-doo-doo and the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, like those things are cold. That's very unique. I don't think there's any other song recently that I can think of that has done something like that. So as always, shout outs to Ghetts.
Try know the basics before you use that burner. Old school jump out, gang, bang, pull up and stir her. Cut 4-5 to get heads up. More life, less ups.
Man said more life, less up. That could be taken a lot of different ways. It could be taken as he has his life, they don't. It could be taken as, listen, I'm moving on with my life. There's a lot of different ways that could be taken. So, like, I don't know exactly what his intentions are with that line, but I appreciate the fact that there's so many different ways that it can be interpreted. That's music for you.
More life, less ups. Tour guy that showed you the best of. Then I picked back up where I left off. You see this?
Oh, my man's is skillful. You over here swinging that bat.
Pull up and stir her. Cut 4-5 to get
And again, the visual direction.
More life, less ups.
Get BackRoad in the back.
Tour guy that showed you the best of. Then I picked back up where I left off. You see this shit? You might have been putting up unbelievable numbers on the board.
It's a fact.
See, 5 years from now, same work rate, same passion. Just keep your foot in their necks. Because the minute you show them mercy, that's when everything starts falling apart.
You know what they say? Wash and push, wash and press.
They don't know what's in it.
Hey,
you get it, bro?
POV where the streets ain't pretty round there, you get killed by niggas. Touchdown for not minding your business. Out here, you're clowning doors.
Hold on, because Pastor Luke came with a whole different energy. Like, out of nowhere.
You good, big bro?
POV where the streets ain't pretty round there, you get killed by niggas. Touchdown for not minding your business. Out here, you're clowning doors, you beat up your gal. Silly little boy. Beef you live where, silly little boy. How many idiot boys get touched cause they took me for silly little boy? I come here, silly little boy. I tell me about.
That's kind of reminding me of like the grime days, like having a thing that you use to wrap up the line that's consistent, but what's being said is different every time. You know what I mean? Despite having those very subtle similarities in the delivery.
Your business out here, you're clowning doors, you beat up your gal, silly little boy. Beef you live where, silly little boy. How many idiot boys get touched cause they took me for silly little boy? I come here, silly little boy. I tell me about you, what? Show me the right shoe step from the trap, little boy. What you know about what's little boy? Melanin more full of no codes in my code. You know what right for my bro? Still, bad man don't talk, move lolo. Bad man don't stop, move pronto. Man shamusa with a hammer. Give a fuck about Henry the
This one is different.
No motherfucking mercy. No mercy. No motherfucking mercy.
This one is rude, but it's a sing-along. It's strange. Nah, BackRoad is a star in this one. I'm sorry. BackRoad is honestly the star in this one. And I'm going to say for one reason why. His energy complements the beat very well. I think everybody else kind of matched the energy on the beat. He complemented it. He's bringing a whole different level with it while still not taking away from what everybody else did. Actually, in a way, it's like the song kind of got gradually more aggressive, honestly.
No mercy. No motherfucking mercy.
BackRoad uses his voice. You know what? This is kind of reminding me of jazz in a weird way. You know what I mean? I think it's called scat. I could be wrong, but like the thing where they're more so making sounds with their voice and like letting that be the music, less so than what they're saying. That's what I like about BackRoad. I'm really thinking about this kind of have that like really old school jazz kind of reimagination, I guess.
And we don't know nothing about pressure, and that we don't know about mercy unless she's wicked, kick and classy. We'll do move from early. That I mean, let's do per journey. I want more blood on the gurney. Who can intercept my journey? No one. Feels what up to T. Feels get with KD, that's me. Jump on his head, attack it. Mind yourself, do you know when you're rapping?
One thing I do have to say, I feel bad for anybody who tries to write BackRoad lyrics. Like, I know they're probably struggling to pick the right words and letters and stuff to like represent what he's saying, but yeah.
Who can intercept my journey? No one. Feels what up to T. Feels get with KD, that's me.
Like, how do you spell that? BackRoad, if you can let me know how you spell that, it would be greatly appreciated.
Early. That I mean, let's do per journey. I want more blood on the gurney. Who can intercept my journey? No one. Feels what up to T. Feels get with KD, that's me. Jump on his head, attack it. Mind yourself, do you know when you're rapping? And yes, I'm feeling like Ghetts. God, me the girl, them sing for me. Hand to beat, sing for me.
Something that I like is when the more modern artists reference things about the older artists. The fact that he did it on a song with Ghetts, I made the gal them sing for me. Like, come on, son. Yo, that is dope.
We'll do move from early. That I mean, let's do per journey. I want more blood on the gurney. Who can intercept my journey? No one. Feels what up to T. Feels get with KD, that's me. Jump on his head, attack it. Mind yourself, do you know when you're rapping? And yes,
and something else too, I love how all of these videos have an aspect of continuity to them. I like the fact that all of the videos feel very similar, but they also have their own personalities with regards to the videos for this project. When I think about Mozambique, when I think about IC3, everything that he's done, Skangman, like they all have a very similar art direction, but they're still very unique and they have their own personalities, but they still feel like they're part of something larger. Yeah, the whole process of making this project has been a masterpiece, honestly, in my opinion.
That's me. Jump on his head, attack it. Mind yourself, do you know when you're rapping? And yes, I'm feeling like Ghetts. God, me the girl, them sing for me. And to beat, sing for me. No motherfucking mercy. No mercy. No motherfucking mercy. No mercy.
Yeah, BackRoad stole the show on this one. I'm not gonna hold you. BackRoad did his thing. This collab made sense though. It made sense. This collab made sense because honestly, Ghetts is showing just how multifaceted he is as an artist, as a person. Salieu and BackRoad are showing how multifaceted they are. Right? BackRoad isn't just showing us, oh, all he could do is drill. Salieu is already showing us he could do so many different things. Yeah, this whole trio makes a lot of sense artistically, creatively, and all that. So in this channel we hold the vowels, that means we're gonna get straight into it, and this one gets a 9. I feel very conflicted about this one, right? I feel like from everything that I've heard from Ghetts so far, this is probably my least favorite song out of everything, but obviously from the score you can tell it's not a bad song. My initial impression here is that this one might make a little bit more sense if I was listening to the whole project. Something about it is giving me that vibe, that maybe there's something before or after this one, if it isn't the last track, that makes the energy on this make a little bit more sense. And I may or may not be right, but those are the things you're thinking about when you're making a project, and those small subtleties can make all the difference. What I can say is that everything about it is very consistent with everything that Ghetts has put out. I think ever since his Mad About Bars, I think his Mad About Bars last year was like him resurfacing and letting everybody know, listen, I'm still out here. And not only am I still out here, but I'm gonna give y'all some music. His flow was very classic Ghetts. It didn't really do anything that you haven't gotten from him before. But honestly, when you have such a refined sound, such an iconic sound, you don't really have to switch it up too much anymore. You're just gonna keep taking it, tweaking it here and there just a little bit, but also matching the music to your sound. And then the same thing goes for both Salieu and BackRoad G. Neither of them really diverted too far away from what we've heard, but I can tell that they were a little bit more experimental. Now maybe when I'm listening to this one over, I may change my opinion, but that's just the impression that I'm getting right now. I do still love the gradual increase in the energy though between all three of them. Ghetts delivered that mature rude that I've been talking about for the past couple reactions, but still giving you everything that makes him Ghetts. Salieu came through, brought up the energy, but he also took it back at the same time. As I mentioned during the reaction, it had that little bit of like a grime flow to it in its own way. And then you had BackRoad G sticking to his guns, but then slightly tweaking it just a little bit. And while some people may say that lyrically he may not necessarily be saying too much, that isn't always what lyrics have to be. Lyrics is also about how you complement the musicality and the beat. And that's exactly why I said that BackRoad reminds you of that old school jazz. You have to take it for what it is within its own genre. BackRoad is paving his own lane. There's nobody else who sounds like BackRoad G right now. And that's really how I feel about this whole song. And then really and truly, the rest of the project is like this. That's going to be the way that I feel about it all. There's nothing else that sounds like this right now besides itself. Overall, I think I do have to give flow maybe to BackRoad just because of his energy. Something about that energy, it matches so well with this. And even the way that he complemented the beat, as I said, this was a very unique beat. I don't think that the beat was necessarily the musical highlight here, but it was more so like the glue that kept it all together. What I liked was like the doo-doo-doo. That to me is an example of how small things can shift something musically and creatively. Honestly, it was like a cherry on top. But even with that, the fact that it was honestly a little bit of a creative risk, and I say that very loosely because a lot of the Ghetts tracks lately have had that kind of sound. What I'm loving about this one and why it has the replay value that it does is because if I was just to play it, it has a very unique sound in the background. It's the kind of song where like I would notice when it's playing because again, nothing else sounds like it. But even beyond that, I know that there's so many layers to this one, and that's what I think the value is. I want to go back and just dissect everything, take everything in from a different perspective, listen to it without the video, all of that. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. What is your favorite Ghetts song between last year and now? Based off of the track listing, what are some songs you're looking forward to hearing if you haven't already? Really and truly, I think IC3 might be my favorite, mostly because of the messaging, but then Skang, I don't know. It's between those two right now. If you haven't already, I'm gonna put up all of the reactions to Ghetts' music that I've released within the past year somewhere here on the screen. But listen, as always, hang tight for some more reactions because I do got more of those coming for y'all. But until next time, peace.
Hey yo, cousin, you made